We are here in the Dadcast bunker, and you are watching the now award-winning show, Dadcast.
With the man them. Only two of us today. It's not because we were celebrating too hard. We did celebrate quite well. But yeah, little one wasn't very well. And I guess when you've got so many kids, odds are on someone's not going to be well.
Definitely, yeah.
So we've got no Duppy today. But yeah.
He's here in spirit.
Yes, yeah. So today, Kenny, we are talking
about being away from our children, and that can mean many different things. That could be being on holiday. That could be, you have your children, over the weekend every so often.
Yeah.
So yeah, being away from our children. We've been encountered this over a number of occasions recently, and we decided that we were going to talk about it.
That's the thing. So we've had, you had WrestleMania.
Yep.
Nicola and the kids went to go visit some family in Coventry, so I was here. Jess went on her first camp. Obviously, you got Duppy, who has a daughter that lives in another city to him. So yeah, we were just thinking about, we've been experiencing it all quite a bit. I guess start with, and there's also things that happen of people who get married, and as part of being married, you have a honeymoon.
Yeah.
And when you're already parents, it's making that decision of, do we honeymoon just us?
Or do you bring the kids?
Yeah. Because we didn't bring the kids on our honeymoon.
No, we didn't on ours either. No.
Because I think, it's important as, in that moment, you're not getting married because you're parents, you're getting married because it's a commitment to one another, and you do kind of need some time just to be you guys. That's why it's important to have things like date night, and, I guess those evenings aren't too bad about being away from the kids, but, the anxieties of like leaving them for like the first time and that kind of stuff.
It's funny, like you said, that it's the different periods of times that you're away from your children. Because you're away from your children when you're, for instance, at work and stuff. Yeah. And as a parent, you do go through these, feelings of guilt sometimes when you are working a lot and you have those, those prime times away from your kids, especially as fathers when, your partner's at home with the children, with your baby, and you're at work, and this is going to be like this for a long time,
And then then you get things. So recently, been chatting to people at work because there's a few girls who are going on maternity. I work in a school, so what works quite well for ladies is if you manage to get your maternity, they're built into, like, say, the summer holiday, or if you have the baby around then, it just means that if your partner, if the man, I say the man, the person getting the shorter stint of parental leave, if that is around the 6 weeks holiday as well, sometimes you can have so I've had my 10 days and then it leads into the 6 weeks, and it works quite well like that, because otherwise you do get that thing of having to be away from your kids for that kind of time, or with the working thing with like school holidays, knowing for some people, so with Nicola being a childminder, some people aren't able to get the time off, so they have to leave their kids like with her as a childminder, knowing that there's the holidays and things like that. So I can't imagine kind of how that felt, because we were quite lucky we didn't need to like be away from our kids, both of us away from our kids too much in that regard.
But having experienced, being away from your children, obviously once they're born and then you have to go back to work, for us recently it's been slightly different. Obviously they're older now, and like you said, Nicola took the kids away, and I went to WrestleMania. What was it like for you? Because obviously your kids are older now, more characters, more input, more drive, more, and it's different to when they're a baby. So what was it like for you being here without them?
The key thing that I did was I made myself busy. Like, I literally made myself busy. So the bathroom wallpaper needed stripping, so I was like, okay, let me do that. Like, spent a day stripping the walls. Then obviously sanded, like all that boring DIY stuff. Yeah. But that was how I got through most of it. I was busy. So those that know me know that I'm quite laid back. I won't tend to have like a rigid plan on what I'm going to do. But it was like, okay, let me try and get this bathroom done. But it was like when I met up with Jeets for some food with his family, met his nephew for the first time. So like his sister and her husband came, and my nephew for the first time. There was a pub quiz on one night, so I was literally doing the bathroom and like popping out to do something, then back on the bathroom. Whereas I think that if there wasn't something to do, or I didn't give myself something to do, I probably would have just been sat around a bit, just like, the house is empty. Like, I enjoy having, say, like, my Saturday where Nicola and the kids go out on a day, but then they come back in the evening. I enjoy my Sundays where we're able to do things like this, recording, but then, like, I'll go and see them later on and we'll come back. Like, when it was like they left on Thursday and they won't come back for like 3 days, it was only like 3 days, it wasn't like a whole week or anything, but I was just a bit like, okay. This is a bit dry. Like, I don't know. And when you're so used to having people around,
I can't play FIFA like all day.
No, and it's that thing as well where even as adults, it's really we're all doing our own thing. We're all working, all looking after our families. So it's not like I could like be with you the whole time. I know I could have called you and like popped up or whatever, but you've got things going on. Or it's when you have, so for me working in education, I get school holidays. It's great, a lot of time off. But when a lot of your friends aren't working in education, I got time in the day, but everybody else is at work.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, digression from the topic, and yeah, it is that thing where I made sure. I don't know if I would have felt that lonely, but I just made sure I knew that if I was busy, then I couldn't miss them, and if I did something that was strenuous, when I got to the end of the day, I would just be exhausted and I could sleep, because I really struggle going to bed by myself. I really struggle. Like, I'm just so used to having Nicola there, for example, that I struggle sleeping by myself. But then, what is nice is just waking up in the morning, because you wake up in the morning, not having Jada like try to sneak in and hit you with some sort of trick attack, as we call it.
Some elbow drop or something. Yeah, no, I feel you. You know, your sentiments when it comes to struggling going to sleep by yourself, because I do as well. You know, not as much as Sherelle does, but I definitely do as well. Where you think it would be just easy just to kind of just drop asleep, and actually you feel like you're going to sleep, but actually it's been 5 minutes and you're struggling, and then your mind starts, kind of going in different places, and you're like, oh, actually, maybe just put the TV on, put it on sleep, and then if I drop asleep, I drop asleep. But yeah, my experience of being away from, the children recently is different to yours, where I went on holiday. I went to WrestleMania, which is a boyhood dream, and excited to be away, and you're gonna miss the kids, but this is the top of your bucket list. You're going to kind of do this thing that you've always wanted to do, and obviously I'm not worried about them. They're with their mum, so it's fine. But while I was away, a few days into the trip, I got a phone call in the morning, American time, and it was my wife, and she said basically Kida's broken her arm, she's fallen down the stairs. And at that moment, I struggled, because you're away, and you're used to being involved in everything, and trying to support your wife and stuff with that stuff that's going on. So when you're not there, it's like I can't actually do anything. Across the pond, what can I do? So I went a little bit hysterical. She was like, don't panic. Your mum's here, your family's here, they're sorting it and everything. It's fine. We're taking her to the hospital. And she said, don't panic. And I'm like, okay. But really inside, I'm like all kinds of messed up. So hang up, and I'm in hysterics, and I'm just like, okay, I need to just kind of woosah, because they got everything under control. I was, getting updates and things, but it was hard. It was
the thing. Do you remember what I said to you when, you obviously said about it?
Yeah.
It was just that thing of, it's horrible that she's been hurt, horrible, but it was like, it's not her neck, it's not her back, she'll be okay, because that's the thing as well. It's rubbish to be away and for your child to be hurt, but in the grand scheme of things, at least it wasn't life threatening, because you don't want to think worst case scenarios, but she could have fell down the stairs and needed 24-hour care all of a sudden. So it was just kind of saying to you weigh it up, and I didn't want you to feel bad, because again we put a post ages ago on our Instagram and our Facebook saying about is it selfish to go away? Should you feel guilty for going away? And I think that we shouldn't.
No.
But it's really easy in that moment, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we're big advocates of making sure that, we tell fathers, you have to make sure you can still be you, and make sure you still have time for you outside of being a parent. But yeah, you're right. You can get caught up in that and feel, loads of times where you feel guilty of going away. And I did that whole day, the WrestleMania was the next day. Yeah. And I know they didn't want me to, want it to affect my trip too much, but it's hard. But for that one thing, even that phone call from you just helped kind of, Yeah.
Because I guess as well, so you were out there with some of our boys, but they weren't parents.
No.
And so they were just out there doing their thing, whereas, there's that thing where, and the time zone thing, having to try and sort out your FaceTime calls with the time zone, and standing in a queue waiting to go in with loads of wrestle heads, but having to make sure you chat to your kids and stuff. That's cool. Do you have kids, any sort of tips that helped you kind of get through being away, or was there anything? Yeah. So do you have any kind of words of advice for the dad that is questioning whether or not he should do a trip for himself?
Yeah, so what I would say is definitely put things in, schedule things in terms of speaking to your children whilst you're away. So you make sure you put in a time, maybe, you know, you're going to speak to them for 15 minutes at this same time every day. So mine was making sure it's before their bedtime, because it was perfect time for me in terms of the time zones, and perfect for them so they can know that they're going to speak to me every day at that time. Especially because that is a ritual that we've always done, you know, saying night-night and stuff, so I made sure I kept that up. So making sure as well, if anything was happening, you get regular scheduled updates. But apart from that, just, you know who your children are with. You know, they're either going to be with your partner or with your family, and you have immense trust in them. So that will allay any worries that you have. And that's all I can really say. There's nothing more I can really say to that, because it all depends on different situations and different things that happened, like having an accident. But if that didn't happen, everything will be be fine. I'll still be putting my scheduled time.
It's easy as well, because the stereotype is that it's always the mum that worries.
Yeah,
I think that's the stereotype, and it's okay to have your reservations and be anxious. We spoke before about having our anxieties with our kids, so it's okay to question. It's okay to worry. Just I think it's always, for me, like, and this isn't just parenthood, I think it's trying to be solution focused. Do you know what I mean? And trying to be practical and realistic with it. It's, so for example, with the accident, it was like, she's had an accident, she has got an injury, but where you are, what can you do? Yeah. And with the type of injury, is it that you're going to get a plane back all of a sudden, when actually, whether you're there now or there in a week, what could you actually do? And I think it's sometimes trying to be practical like that, because it's easy for us to try and rush and be the hero. Like, depending on what your dynamic is like and how protective you are, it's in us to be like, right, someone's hurt, like, I need to go sort it. It's like, actually, no, sometimes, and that's a realization as well, is that as dads, we are really involved in our kids' lives, and we're always there, but sometimes we're not actually needed. But that's okay as well.
That is okay. And I think as well, it's like evaluating the seriousness, like you said, of the injury, because at one point they were saying, oh, she might need surgery, and then that's when I was like, wait, what? But then, Sharon was like, no, she just needs a cast. This is going to be like a 2-hour thing. It's cool. Yeah. So managing the extent of the injury is definitely is one thing. And
so, how many weeks are we on from the injury?
So we are 4 or 5 weeks. She has the cast off now. She didn't actually want to get the cast off because she was just like, used to having it on. But it's off now, and she's happy. The only thing she's kind of upset about is not being able to do gymnastics, but she'll be back in gymnastics after half term. So
okay, that's good. What we'll do, we'll take a quick break, and I will talk a little bit. So we spoke about kind of the situation of being separate from our kids, but it kind of being like arranged by us. Or arranged by the parents. And so I want to talk a little bit about camps and things like that, and kind of because you haven't had any kids on camp yet?
Nope.
So we'll share experience, and so we're back in just a minute.
Yo, it's Jace from Dadcast with the Man Them. Just doing a quick ad just to kind of show some of the new stuff we have added to the store. For those that want to support the movement and want to help us, obviously we need money in order to run projects, so I have released 3 new designs. We've got child-free zone, just to let the kids know when you need your adult time, need some time away to decompress. Then we've got How Farther Ahead. As you can see, these are all inspired by UK road signs. You can get them in hoodies, t-shirts, vests and the like. And last but not least, living in a zoo, because sometimes you're unsure if you're living with children or living with wild animals. If you want to buy some of this merch, want to know where to find it, go to www.teespring.com/stores/dadcastwtmd. Make sure you're repping the finest in Dadcast wares and support the project going forward. Peace!
Okay, so you would have seen then, we've got the Teespring store, a few more designs on there, but I just thought we've got a few things going on at the table. Just a few examples of some stuff we've got. So we've got the Dadcast tee. This was the exclusive one, so those at the beginning will have that little exclusive. This will never be around again, but you got things like definition of Dadcast, then it's got the logo in different colours. We have Dadcraft with the Man Them. I wanted to make sure I shouted out that, because with the children's scrap store and with Linden Accountants, we've been able to put on a project once a month, first Saturday of every month at the scrap store, where dads can bring their kids 2 till 4 and get crafty. We've done Easter, we've done mandalas, so we're coming up to June, so we're going to be looking at kind of like fatherly stuff. Father's Day is coming up in June, but But also I wanted to make sure I shouted out Bristol Clothing Pushers, because the team over there are the ones that created our uniform for the event. And yeah, we're hoping to have a bit of stuff kind of going on with Buzz over there, because that'd be good for us to sort of build up that teamwork there. And some of the stuff he's got over there is amazing. He's done so many things for different, like, what I've noticed when I spoke to him, he's got just that friendly approach, and it's bespoke. Somebody says, oh, I want this, but I'm not sure. So he'll be like, okay, have you thought about trying it this way? Or have you thought about doing it this way? And, you know, the Teespring store is great. Please use the Teespring store. If you don't have access to us or access to Bristol, use the Teespring store, because what we're going to have is the same stuff available in Bristol Clothing Pushers. But I think it's about, from us being from Bristol, and I want to make sure that we're supporting Bristol business where possible. And yeah, meeting him, been really cool guy. I happened to run into his mum the other day, lovely lady, and it was that thing where I seen her. She was wearing so BCP is what it's called. We'll have the socials underneath. But yeah, with his mum, she was wearing his hat. It's got the BCP logo. I was like, "Who's mum?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Right, wait there. I'll talk to you in a minute." So we was at a comedy show, and yeah, I pulled up, and then when I came out. When I got out of the car and I seen her, and I was like, oh, chatting to her, she's giving me just like this massive mum hug.
Big mum hug.
You know what I'm saying? And just like, yeah, so.
Well, speaking of the comedy show, Jace got to interview comedian Kojo.
That was
good. You would have seen him on Britain's Got Talent, and you probably would have seen him at various different comedy shows. But how did you feel, getting interviewed with him?
It was good, because I went to see the Comedy Clash in October, and then had him on, followed him on Instagram and stuff like that. And then he's had a son, Roman. And so when he's gone live, just been watching that channel. I thought, oh, do you know what would be really good? As him being a father who's doing entertainment stuff, I'll catch up with him. Then having to be a couple months back, then the Britain's Got Talent thing happened. And then I was like, not going to be able to really speak to him, because there's going to be everybody around him, that kind of stuff. But props to him. He I just shouted at him and said, look, check us out. I said, it'd be really nice to catch up with you, but I know you're going to be swamped, so check us out. Sent him the link, and then he was like, oh bro, please come and find me after the show and we'll have a chat. And so yeah, we chatted for a little bit, and there had a little bit of a chat. In fact, do you know what, run the VT.
I'm with the man. Britain's Got Talent. Obviously certain people know him from back in the day with Kojo's Playhouse with the comedy back then, way back in the day. Kojo, I wanted to quickly ask, obviously you recently have had Romy, you said 9 months now? Yeah. So I see you on live walking him in the park and obviously always having a good time. How important is it for you to make sure that you're having that time while still chasing your dream and pushing with the entertainment world?
It's important. I think everything that you're doing now is for him, innit? So it doesn't make sense to do all of it and he's not good. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes we focus so much on work and not focus enough on family. And I've done a lot of spending time on work. So now it's all about him. Everything that he's motivated to make sure that he has a good start and a good continuation. So it's just very important, and I think he appreciates it. He sees me every single day. Whether it's on the phone or in the flesh, it's every single day. So yeah, man, it's beautiful.
It's good. And the thing is, I think it's just important to show as well. A lot of jokes tonight, we're told, obviously there's no holds barred. There's loads of jokes about absent fathers in the black community. And it's one of them things where I think it's easy for us to forget, because we're dads doing our thing and putting our kids first, that it's important to make sure that we're showing that we're being dads, we're out there for our kids, but also working for ourselves to give them a future too.
Yeah, it's important, because that's one of the reasons why Britain's Got Talent has done so well, because people are seeing a black dad with his partner and the child, and you don't get to see that all the time. Or it's a fictional comedy or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's a powerful image to see a black family on a show like that, because it becomes not about race. It becomes about, this is the image that we want to see, so that people can believe that it's genuine. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's a good time, and I think there's a lot of dads standing forward now, especially online, and wanting to show what they're doing with their children.
Do you know, there's a queue of people wanting to see you, obviously. Thank you so much for your time.
God bless you, my brother.
Thank you.
No worries, man.
Okay, so as you can see, it was just good kind of getting that. It was only a minute, just over a minute, but it was just good to kind of get that insight. And yeah, just his perspective. What I enjoyed is that it blew my perspective out there, because I was just thinking oh yeah, it's a black dad on TV, but then he was like, it's bigger than that, it's a black family. And I know that we don't push the narrative of, we're black dads, because we're just about fatherhood in general, but you do need to look at some of the stereotypes that come under the subcategory. Because you get loads of men who end up being a dad of multiple children from different women. It doesn't mean he's a deadbeat dad that's just having kids for fun. There's a scenario behind it. Again, negative stereotype that's out there is of being absent black fathers. But that is not the case in so many different ways. But there's no stereotypes. Everyone is negative. But yeah, shout out to Kojo, and we will be supporting him for Britain's Got Talent. So hopefully, yeah, it goes really well. Like semi-finals. And you can see in the middle, it's been here for the whole show. We have got our Bristol Diversity Award 2019 for the Diverse Online Broadcaster. We went last year, had a nomination, didn't win. Went back 3 nominations, and yeah, it got to a point where I just resided in. When you looked at the people we were up against.
Yeah.
It was amazing. If you look on Twitter, we've got all the tweets from the night. We've been retweeting everybody that was winners there. 32 categories. So for us to be in 3 was amazing. But when everybody's, it was nice having the room when they called us. Everyone was like, yeah,
dude, we got
that was really nice.
Reception.
But it was that thing where I know that people were then a bit confused because they're like, yeah. But then we didn't win the award. But it's like, actually, when you look at the work that person has done, I feel really bad because I can't recall what people's names were, but it was a girl from Empire Fighting Chance.
Shireen Ghosh.
So she has smashed through so many cultural barriers and broken the mould in regards to being able to do what she does and get other people that support. And then when it came to diverse radio broadcaster, Steffi Barnett, who is at BCFM, but like when they were reading off the list of things that Steffi's done, I was like, she's been doing it longer than us, and she's making moves, making waves, and doing really amazing. So it was like, do you know what? It's not like oh, I'm not sure who's going to win. When we were sat, I was like, Steffi's won this one. And then when it came to us with the diverse online broadcaster, I was like, because we had Gooberry and feel bad again, can't remember the name, but I was like, do you know what? When I looked them up, they're good. So it's cool. We got 3 nominations, it's alright. And when we got called, I was like, oh snap, okay. So yeah, so it's nice, and I think that if it wasn't for the support that we've been getting from people and the people that have told us, like, you know, this message is helpful and we are doing good work, this is why we keep doing it. And so yeah, thank you to everybody that nominated us,
especially at Cross Street. We haven't mentioned it yet, so thank you to Cross Street as well.
And yeah, thank you to those that have been with us so far. And this is it's weird because we've been doing it just over 2 years.
Yeah.
But we're still at the beginning. It's so strange. Yeah. It's so strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for
plenty more to come. And also, if you haven't noticed on our Facebook and our Instagram, we are now a community interest company. So it is Dadcast with a man them CIC.
And yeah, that means that we're going to be able to get funding and do more projects. You know, we've had to kind of, I don't want to say muscle our way in or sweet talk, but I think from friends that we've known or people we've met from some of the stuff we've done or people who've seen the YouTube stuff, we've had that connection with people and been able to start some projects. Whereas now we can start to branch out a bit further to places we might not have had access to before. And yeah, if people want to get involved, you know, with selling the t-shirts and the mugs and all that stuff, it's not us doing that to line our pockets. We're doing that so that we have funding so that we can replicate like last summer when we took the dads to the zoo. It's about getting that money that we can put into Dadcast to give dads free opportunities to have with their kids. So yeah, I know that some people were like, oh yeah, not oh yeah, but when you get a YouTuber who sells merch, they sell merch so that they can have loads of money, and because that's what you do it for a job. At the moment, this is not our job. This is just a project that we're doing. We are not making money off of it. Yes, we are charging for our services, but the money has gone into Dadcast. Like none of us has been paid a salary as of yet. Obviously, it would be great if the company grew and we could. But yeah, the money that's going in, again, we need to start dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making it exclusive of Teespring. When stuff is coming from Teespring, it is going towards Dadcast projects. And you know, we started quite a nice time as well because we got it in April. So when it comes to the end of the tax year, we can say this is the money that's coming from this, and this is where it's gone. So yeah, keep an eye on all of that. I guess back to the topic. So talking being away from our kids, Jess had her first camp, and I'm like, it's a rite of passage. We need to send her. She needs to go. So she's in year 4, and they haven't had a camp, to my knowledge, for a few years at the school. But yeah, so they wanted to take her on a camp. Jess was really excited. Jess has had a few sleepovers at her friends. She's not too bad at staying away for a night. She went on the Thursday. She went on the Tuesday, and I believe came back on the Thursday. And it was one of those things where it was a bit weird not having Jess in the house. Jada struggled a little bit with not having Jess around. Nicola struggled with them not being in contact. And it's that thing where I was saying to Nicola, back in the day, making me feel old, but if we went on a school camp, you didn't ring your mum. There was no way to contact your mum. And I've said that Jess is still too young to have a phone. She's 9. Me and Nicola agree, like she doesn't need a phone. I've said to Jess, when you need it, you will have it. But there was that factor of we knew what activities was going on, but couldn't bring her to check in or anything like that. The school did send text to parents saying, yeah, we're fine, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't like that personal thing, because otherwise, what you'd have like however many kids having to like ring home on the phone, which is not practical. I rate the school highly and Jess's teacher. So those that know Jess well enough will know that she's a really odd eater. She likes things like pasta bolognese, but if the bolognese touches the pasta, she can't eat it. It's some stuff like that. And put Jada in a scenario with food, Jada would be like, oh, that's on the menu, cool, I'll try that. Jess is like, I'm not sure, I can't try it. So her teacher was like, okay, well, one thing that we can do is the kids can't bring loads of food.
Yeah.
But I'm going up there to check the site, so I'll see the kind of things we're offering. So then she came back and let Nicola know these are sort of things that we're looking at food-wise. And then we were then allowed to sneak a pack of wraps in, so that at least Nicola knew that for lunch Jess can have a wrap with fruit and all this other stuff. Because if they do sandwiches, Jess won't eat sandwiches, and then suddenly she's just having a piece of fruit, maybe a little snack. So although the wrap's not big, it just kind of made Nicola feel better, made us feel better knowing that she had something. But for the teacher to go to those lengths, I think made it easier as well. Because I think if we were in a situation where we had a bad relationship with the school, as much as I'd be like, it's a right passage to go on camp, I'd be like, right, what teachers are going? So Nicola was interested in what teachers are going, but I was like, do you know what, actually, the school's doing all right, like they're doing good by my kids, so I'm happy. I don't mind what member of the staff it is. You know, I trust whatever the school's judgment is, which has been quite nice for me in that sense.
Where did she go?
I want to say it was Barton Camp.
Barton Camp.
So
I think it was
Barton Camp.
I went to Barton Camp on my year 6 camp.
Okay.
And then I took, when I was doing youth work, I took my young people back to Barton Camp.
Okay,
yeah.
Full circle. Just hearing that now, I was like, oh, imagine if we done like a dad's camp. That'd be sick.
That's where that's where we're going.
So yeah, dad's camp. Barton Camp 2021. And it was a thing where I was at work, and when Jess got back, so Nicola went and got her early, and it was like text straight away, like, oh, I got my baby back. And the thing that's funny is Nicola sent me that, and Jess was like on the tablet. I was like, oh, straight on the electrical devices. And Jess was like, oh, mummy, I miss you, I need to stay with you, I can't be away from tablet. You. She came back, and just like life was just normal, and she had a really good time.
Good.
And I think it's good for us to see, because she's our eldest. You know, it's good to see that because she's on that trajectory. You know, you'd hope that Jada will go on a similar one and be okay as time goes on. But yeah. Zaya's year 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there's no camps yet, but like next year, if he was offered a camp, would you be happy for him to go?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good for his development and his independence and stuff. No doubt he'll probably miss us a bit, but I think as well he'll enjoy being out there and having fun. So yeah, I'll be well up for him.
How do you think Cheryl will be?
Cheryl will, she'll miss him. I will miss him too, but it's like, I think Kida will be the one that will miss him the most. Actually, I kind of retract that. She might not, now that they don't share a bedroom.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. So with Jess and Jada, so Jada on the first night slept in Jess's bed. So she got top bunk, because they got bunk beds, so she got top bunk for that night. But then the next one, she slept on the floor. She said she wanted to sleep on the floor, which is what they would normally do on a weekend.
Yeah.
She watched some Netflix, slept on the floor. I was like, yeah, Jay, whatever you want to do, like, it's your room kind of thing for the evening. And yeah, she just settled. Flipping the question then, because I know with your kids, not saying that you don't hold regard for Zaya, but for you, there's always been a thing with Kida being, not only that she's the youngest and being your baby, but she is little in stature.
Yeah.
How do you think you would feel about her on her first camp? Do you reckon you'll be because I imagine with Zaya, you'll be really ready for Zaya to go. Some of it is, I guess, within us that he's a boy, so yeah. But like your little Princess Kida.
Yeah. My thing is always, like you said, it's always been about her size and people realizing that she's there, she's there and not kind of So I think I would struggle a little bit at first, but I think ultimately she'll be okay because I know she's very independent. At this moment in time, she's very, very independent, and she will go off and do her own thing, and she's blessed. So I think she would be okay. Which means that I would then be okay. You always have that slight worry, and I would have even more of a worry because of my anxiety around her, being so small. But I think eventually she'll be all right. And to be fair, she's gonna shoot up. she's already shooting up. So yeah, it'll be water for ducks back, man.
You say that, I know that Kinny's just going to be worried, and the dad. The thing is, Dadcast, but it's what it is. With the Dadcast chat, they'll be like, people paying, be like, okay, this is what's going on, Kins. This is how it is. Like, remember, it's okay. We do it all the time, and that's what's good about having that.
It's like an episode of Blackish I just watched, and the dad, his thing was around fear. Like he's fearing little things, and he's fearing their kids growing up and going on camping. It was one of those things, and he had to kind of release the reins, you know what I mean, and let them go away and stuff like that. You know, he was deciding that he hasn't heard from his kids. He called one child, that they didn't answer. He called the other one, and the other one didn't answer. Then it was like across the bottom of the screen, fear, and he decided to kind of leave the restaurant that they were at to go and drive and try to find his kids. So that wouldn't be me. That would not be me.
It'd be interesting to hear from other people. How do you feel about? Well, I guess. What is the youngest that your child has been away from you for more than a night? I guess would be interesting, and how kind of you felt and dealt. This is open to mums and dads. This is a parenting question. And do you have, if you have been through it, and what did you find helpful, or if there was advice you could give to yourself? So the first time you're about to leave your child with somebody somewhere, or for more than a night, if you could go back and speak to yourself now, what advice would you kind of give yourself? Be interested to hear what people say. I guess, just to kind of wrap up things that are going on. So every Tuesday, BCFM, so bcfmradio.com/dadcast. But if you're in Bristol, the radio dial on 93.2 FM. There is a BCFM app as well, so there's loads of great shows on there. It's really good catching up with some of the other shows on the station. Every Tuesday as well, while we're doing the radio show, we do broadcast live on Facebook. That's been getting quite a lot of traction. We were talking, if you go back, we were talking about body image.
Yes.
And that was quite an interesting one. And that was featured on BBC Radio Bristol's Best of BCFM for the week. So that was good. We've got really bad. I'm going to get on my phone quickly just to check the calendar so I say the right date. But we've got the next Dadcast with the man, Dadcraft, with the man them coming up. Yeah. That is on the 1st of June, Saturday, the 1st of June. Come down 2 till 4. If you come in the store, ask about the session. They'll take you around to the playroom where we will be. It's what's been really nice. So you had your first session. Is just that the kids can just go, anything they can get their hands on, they can craft with.
Just do their thing, man. It's amazing to see the things that they can,
That's the thing, because in my head it was a thing where we'll have these sessions and there'll be stuff put out and the kids have to craft with those things. But the team there is just like, no, we want the kids to be creative. If the kids see something they can be creative with, how are we helping them by stopping them? And that was really good. And it was nice that they had the circle mandala and everybody added to that, and it was really good. And it was good just having different dads from different walks of life, just having their kids paint and having a chat and all that stuff. So next Dadcraft, 1st of June. If you want to get hold of us on the socials, they were popping up throughout the video as always, but on Twitter, on Instagram @DadcastWTMD, Facebook.com/DadcastWTMD, or if you're watching on YouTube, but that is YouTube.com/Dadcast with the man there.
Simply for the Dads.
Simply for the Dads, so that is coming up.
It's the 15th.
15th, there we go.
The 15th, the day before Father's Day.
So for those that are Bristol based or nearby, Felix Road Adventure Playground. We're looking at doing it 12 till 3. The flyers will be out soon, but that's in partnership with BCFM and also with Up Our Street. And then obviously Felix Road Adventure Playground's charity itself. Last year was really good. Hopefully we get good weather again. It was nice seeing the kids run around the climbing frames, but then there was pizza making, and it was really good. So keep an eye on that space.
What are we doing next?
Thank you. That's why I need this guy. I could never do this by myself, although there have been a few occasions where I'm left to do radio by myself. I am trying to do a feature on tales of the firstborns. What I will do, normally we'll have music playing out, but I will leave kind of a clip of what I'm looking for. So if any dads want to get involved in sharing their stories, sharing their tales of the firstborn, please get in touch. The easiest way is via the email, dadcastwtmd@gmail.com. And I just, I want to encapsulate some of the stories of people of the moment they first became a father. And then the plan for that is that if we get enough videos, then I want to have the week building up to Father's Day releasing different kind of interviews that we've done.
So just rest assured, it won't be us sitting there asking you questions. It'll literally be the camera, your story, and just tell it as you want it.
And it's just, and I know there's a lot of pressure people that don't normally go on film, but yeah, it's just 5 minutes just for you sharing your story. If you're Bristol based, I will come to you. So I want to try and work around people, I want them to be comfortable in their setting. And yeah, so please do get in touch. So before we roll the tape, I guess there's nothing else to say, but Fatherhood
doesn't come with a manual.
Run the BT. It's just like, nope, it's too much. Like, I need to go back. So we went back and said that to them. And yeah, they kept her in, done a few checks, and saw that Nicola's water hadn't broke, but they used their little hook on a stick thing in there, broke her waters, and then they had her on like a drip thing, I think, to help her dilate, and then we just kind of played the waiting game. Just remember being sat in a hospital room just like all day waiting for things to happen, contractions coming and going throughout the day, being monitored. The pain got quite bad, so Nicola then opted for an epidural because there was still time. So yeah, they done the whole injection in the spine thing, giving her that pain relief. And yeah, I just remember just kind of like, we're like 3 days in, so Nicola's exhausted, and I just remember just kind of trying to keep it all together. And